Oh, hello. Welcome once again to Denton's Story Time. Now, the Old Norse, who feature quite prominently, of course, in my videos, were pagans for much of the so-called Viking Age. But if you ask probably the majority of people what a pagan was, well, they might not be able to give you the correct answer. So this time, I'm asking the question: what is a pagan? Or you can say heathen. The two words really mean much the same thing. Well, the simple answer to that question is anyone who isn't a follower of the three so-called Abrahamic religions, which are Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. All the other lot are pagan. Yes, any religion that is not Christian, Jewish, or Islamic is pagan by definition. Buddhism, Hinduism, Shinto, Wiccan. You can worship a turnip on a stick or that big tree at the bottom of your garden, and you're a pagan. And pagan beliefs can be both pantheistic with multiple deities or monotheistic with just a single deity, because a faith does not have to have multiple gods in order to be seen as pagan. Oh no, though some people do seem to think it does. On that point, I always laugh when I hear pagans described as godless. Very common in times past. Those dreadful, godless heathens. Oh, so evil, yes. Now, considering the fact that many of them, well, they had numerous gods, dozens of them sometimes. I mean, there were gods all over the place. You couldn't have thrown a stone in any direction in ancient Greece or along the Nile without hitting a god of something or other. While the Abrahamic religions had, well, just one. Yes, from a mathematical point of view, they were far more godless than the other lot were. The pagans, of course, were the total opposite of the Abrahamic religions. They weren't bound by one belief in various forms. No, they followed a multitude of differing beliefs in many forms, worshipping actual divine entities, spirits of various kinds, like nature spirits that inhabited rocks or trees, or well, indeed pretty much everything, divine animals, and even part animal, part human deities, as in ancient Egypt. And being pagan didn't mean that you had to sacrifice goats or dance naked in sacred groves at midnight, however entertaining that might have been. Right. No, no, nor did you have to sit in a pentagram and summon demonic entities to do your bidding, though a lot of misinformed people do seem to think it did, and still does. Seeing pagans as something akin to the three witches from Shakespeare's Macbeth, with funny pointed hats and stirring a cauldron as they drop tail of newt, leg of frog, and eye of salamander into it while cackling maniacally. Popular belief and actual fact seldom go hand in hand, I'm afraid. But it is important to remember that at one time the whole world was pagan. Yes. Paganism in all its many forms is the world's oldest religion. It dates back to the cave, thousands of years before that Abraham chap came along. You could say that in its many forms it was the religion of the entire world at one time. No other faith can claim to have been the all-embracing belief of the entire world. The three Abrahamic faiths, of course, all stem from a very precise location. They all had their origin in some part of the Middle East. Well, pagan beliefs, they just sort of popped up in every corner of the world. There is nowhere on earth, no country that did not have a pagan religion of some kind at some time, and well, many of them still do. India and Japan are examples of pagan countries, though a lot of people probably wouldn't even be aware of that. There are hundreds and hundreds of varieties of pagans, of course: Celtic, Wiccan, African, Slavic, Hellenic, Asiatic, Old Norse, and so on. Though some of them, even though they are still followed today, are really impossible to practice from a historical point of view. The Old Norse and the Druidic, for example, which I talk about on my Dungeons Tales channel. Since you see, we don't have any written records from those times telling us exactly what their ceremonies and practices were. So following them is much larger really a matter of guesswork, in comparison with still existing similar shamanic beliefs, which well, may or may not be what was actually done centuries ago. Now, many people will say, I practice the Old Norse religion. But no, dear, no, you don't. Because, well, you can't, you see. Honor the old gods, yes, follow them, oh yes, you can do that, but we really have no idea what ceremonies, what incantations, what songs were used by the Old Norse themselves, or by the Druids. So we can't follow their religion as such, not as they did. We don't have the script, you could say. It would be like trying to perform Shakespeare's Hamlet if all you knew about it was that Hamlet's uncle killed his father. He was really pissed off about that. He has conversations with the skull. His girlfriend dies after going totally off her rocker, and then just about everybody else dies at the end. Well, you might get the same storyline, but it wouldn't be anything William Shakespeare would recognize. It might appear to outside observers that no two pagans think exactly the same way, given all the varying aspects of beliefs and practices, from some old structured beliefs like Hinduism to, well, anything but anybody feels like believing, worshipping a tree spirit, the sun, or the earth itself, if you feel like it. Not one of which it can be said to truly represent paganism as a whole. Being so varied and multi-layered as it is, it cannot be represented by any one individual practice, or indeed even by a group of them. What was practiced, say, in Scandinavia, well, it didn't represent what was done in India or South America. Totally different, yet all being aspects of paganism. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. There will be more. Yes, yes, let rejoicing commence. There will be more. Until that time, I shall say goodbye for now.